Hello, everyone. I'm Melissa McAllister, and you're listening to The Melissa Made Show. Now, for decades, I've dedicated myself to helping women break the cycle of dieting, navigate through all the fads, and change their lives through my nutrition coaching. Now, each week, I'm going to talk about everything from deep nutrition, mindset, self-care, the ideal workout routine, tips on how and why to implement intermittent fasting in your life, my favorite recipes that are not only crowd pleasers, but they're actually healthy for you, and so much more. Now, with small and consistent changes, you can defy aging while living a happier, healthier, and more heart-filled life. I'm so excited to show you it's possible with the right strategies that are so simple to adopt. Hey everyone, welcome to the Melissa Made Show. So I have 3 answers to 3 questions that I get probably daily. And I don't really know why I haven't made this a podcast yet, to be honest, because from now on I could just go listen to this podcast because I am literally asked this several times a day. And you know what? They're really, really good questions. So what are the 3 questions? Number 1 is, should I eat before or after my morning workout? Have you asked me that question? Number 2 is, how important is that post-workout meal? And number 3, should I be eating fewer meals a day or should I be eating more smaller meals a day? Good questions, right? So I'm going to talk about a couple of studies, and I do have them linked in the show notes because I know that is important for some of you, but I also want to reiterate what I'm learning in these years of doing research is no matter what study you find that supports what you're looking for, you'll find another study that may not support it. And just like with everything else, there's the studies that you're looking for that support what you want or don't support, could be founded or paid for by certain entities. It could be really outdated, maybe what the title says. And then when you read the details of it, it's like, well, that's not really what they're saying. So take it with a grain of salt. When it comes down to it, and I'll probably say this 3 or 4 times throughout this podcast, what really matters is what works for you, my boo. Whatever works for you is fine. I genuinely always think back to when we were of healthy people, whether that was 100 years ago or even just 40 years ago, when we were healthier people, what habits did we partake in? And that always helps me settle well with my decisions on what I do. And so let's talk about the first one. Should you eat before or after your morning workout? So I'm going to tell you the quick story really fast again, in case you've never heard it. But I started teaching group exercise in 1999, I believe. It was 1999, pretty sure. And I would teach in the morning because I had small kids and they would either go in the childcare, they would go to school. And so I could teach. And I tried because I listened and I read to all those magazines, the Muscle and Fitness Hers, the Shape magazines, all of those. I read them and they said 6 meals a day and to eat first thing in the morning, stoke the metabolism. And so I truly 100% believe that. And I tried. But if I have any old school girls in here that happened to take my classes back in the day, I was good at it. And I knew that when I gave 100%, I could expect 50 to 70%, 75% of my participants. So I am telling you, I pushed so hard to get my participants to give me as much as they could because I really wanted them to get healthy. So that's pretty crazy. And I sometimes I would even teach 2 classes back to back. And every once in a while I teach a class and then I'd take a class. I couldn't do it with food in my stomach. I just couldn't. I felt so much better with just pre-workout or coffee in my system, lots of water. I could just teach better. I didn't feel heavy, bogged down, like I was going to get sick. And sometimes if I would teach in the evening, I would sub a class. It would remind me of why I didn't have food in my stomach. Because for me, I do better working out on an empty stomach. But then again, there are some people that feel sick if they don't eat before they work out, right? So it's totally up to you how you feel. But keep in mind, try both ways. Don't just do one thing and say, that's just it for me. That works better for me. Because I'm telling you, that's why when I would teach in the evening with food in my stomach, it would reiterate to me, no, because I really, truly tried. And if you're telling yourself, I can't work out without food in my belly, but yet you're really wanting to burn some extra body fat, try it. But your body loves habit and it always loves the easy way out. So it's easier for it to burn the banana than it is for it to burn, the body fat. So it might take you a little while for your body to quit being rebellious and to tell you, no, you've got to put something in your belly to try doing fasted workouts. And after a while, it still doesn't work for you, then who cares? Because in the grand scheme of things, you're eating healthier and you're exercising, and that's really, truly all that matters. So personal preference is 100% what I'm talking about here. But in the British Journal of Nutrition, I came across this article, and the title is Effects of Aerobic Exercise Performed in Fasted versus Fed State on Fat and Carbohydrate Metabolism in Adults. They always make those so complicated. A systematic review and meta-analysis. Okay. So they actually listed some of the pros and the cons of testing, doing some sort of aerobic exercise, whether you're fasted or you're fed. The pros are, the review suggests, and I'm quoting, that aerobic exercise at low to moderate intensity performed in the fasted state induced an increase in fat oxidation when compared with exercise performed following consumption of a carbohydrate-containing meal. So they're saying that fat oxidation is a little bit higher when you are fasted. I have seen people who will, to the ends of the earth, tell you that you need to eat before, because I really think they like to eat before their workouts. Make sure that everybody believes it's the best way. So I believe there's a study floating out there. And if you know the study and you want to put it in the notes, I'm more than happy for it to be there. That in the grand scheme of things, like I said, if you eat before or you eat after, how many calories you burn, how much fat you burn throughout the whole day really isn't a big change. Okay. So take it for what it is. This study shows in the British Journal of Nutrition, which is a very touted one, just simply states that you burn more fat if you work out fasted doing an aerobic workout. Okay. But what are the cons of that? Some people just can't do it. They just don't feel well exercising when they are in a fasted state. So the pros are you might burn a little bit more fat. Cons are maybe you're not going to feel well in your workout. You don't feel like you have enough energy. You do better with a little bit of fruit and, an egg or something in your system when you go to work out. Okay. Now, how about that post-workout meal? Okay. So you could probably recite this with me, especially if you read the Muscle and Fitness Hers and the Shape magazine and all those magazines that talk about, the anabolic window, how you have to consume carbohydrates and proteins within 45 minutes of your workout, or you're undoing everything, or your body is going to catabolize all of its own muscle, and you're actually going to lose muscle because you don't eat right after you work out. If you feel like you're the kind of person, because you've seen this a million times over, and still, avid gym goers will share that, usually with a link to a protein shake, will tell you that you have to do this. So you feel the need to, when you're at the gym, before you can even think of going home, you have to sit in the locker room and you have to mix your protein shake and drink it, because if you miss that 45-minute window, then guess what? Your workout was absolutely worth nothing. Now, the purpose of a post-workout meal is to replenish glycogen, or the sugar. It's the primary fuel for muscle contractions. Okay. And it's important for you, your next workout, that you have it replenished. Okay. And that's where, you've got people saying you've got to replenish the glycogen, and you also need some protein in your system to help rebuild that muscle. First off, You're not going to, I'm in good shape. I work out pretty hard. I don't even use all of the glycogen in my muscles. It holds quite a bit. It's going to take quite the athlete to deplete all of the glycogen in their muscle, so it needs to be replenished right away. Second thing, do you plan on working out again pretty darn soon after that workout? I doubt it. I'm thinking you're probably like me, and it's going to be at least 24 hours. So what matters? What matters is that you have the 24 hours to eat well and to be able to replenish the protein and the carbohydrates for your next workout. So you're not going to catabolize all your muscle if you don't have protein right away, because hopefully you've got protein in your body. Protein sits in your body for quite a while. I will say, though, to go back to that first question, if you work out in a fasted state and then you work out and then you wait until noon or 2 o'clock, I mean, come on, you got to fuel your body at some point. So I would encourage, if you work out in a fasted state, that you do try to have a quality meal within a reasonable time frame. I'm going to let you decide what that is. I have my opinion, which, is about 2 hours, maybe. If you worked out fasted, within 2 hours, fuel your body. But if you ate before your workout, you absolutely do not have to eat right after your workout too. Oh my goodness. It's really contradicting to tell people to eat so much. You don't have to. As long as within that 24-hour period, you're hitting your nutrition goals, you're hitting your protein goals, you're having some healthy carbohydrates to fill those muscles back up with the glycogen that need for the next workout, at the soonest the next day. Now, if you're some crazy athlete, or you have children that are just, doing 2-a-days because of football, or they're, tennis or something, then you really want them to eat pretty quickly, because they do need to refill that glycogen, because they're going to work out within another few hours. If they eat, work out at 8 o'clock in the morning and then they work out again at 6 o'clock at night, yeah, you probably should. But is that you? No. Have you tried countless diets, but you're still seeking your nutrition sweet spot? Are you trying to get results on your health journey to feel your best without being too restrictive? Now, I know how you feel. I've done the diet thing, but there never was that one that totally worked for me. And this is exactly why I developed the MAID diet. Now, I found that rather than restrictions, it's best to have a set of guidelines that allow you to customize based on your preferences and bio-individuality while staying on track with your health and fitness goals. I found the nutrition sweet spot. And as a health and nutrition expert, I get asked all the time what, when, and how I eat. And as someone who's passionate about education and helping others, I want to share that with you. Now, the MAID Diet ebook lays it all out for you, taking the guesswork out of dieting. The MAID Diet is a lifestyle plan that incorporates moderate protein, adequate fat, decreased carbs, and an introduction to intermittent fasting. The ebook gets right down to business by answering your most frequently asked questions. It includes thoughtfully designed recipes and a 7-day sample meal plan to start you off right. It will honestly kickstart your weight loss journey and have you losing inches in your very first week. Now, intermittent fasting combined with these nutritional guidelines is honestly the piece that so many people have been missing when trying to get results. This ebook has all the information you need in a format that is condensed and to the point so that you can get to your results. If you're ready to get started, the MAID Diet ebook is available immediately on my website for just $9.99. So head over to melissamaidonline.com/MAID Diet to take action towards feeling your best today. And once you do, oh my gosh, please let me know it's working for you. I am so honored to be a part of your health journey. Okay, back to the show. And if we're really working on remaining insulin sensitive, then we don't want to eat, every 2 hours, which brings me to question number 3. Should you have 3 or 6 meals a day? Okay. So a study from NIH, which is kind of like the library of all research, there is a study which is posted in the show notes that says we conclude that increasing meal frequency from 3 to 6 per day has no significant effect on 24-hour fat oxidation. Okay, so you're not going to burn more fat if you eat 6 times a day or if you eat 3 times a day. Okay, so for that reason alone, if you're like, I need to eat 6 meals a day because it stokes my metabolism, or I'm going to eat 3 meals a day because I'm going to burn fat between each meal. Once again, what do you enjoy more? Okay. But the study wasn't done. Something interesting that it said was that going from 3 meals to 6 meals a day had no significant effect on the 24-hour fat oxidation, but it may increase hunger and the desire to eat, which for me is an aha moment. I have always enjoyed 3 larger meals versus 6 smaller meals, because if I'm eating smaller meals every 2.5 hours, then I'm constantly wanting to eat, because there's never for me that sense of satiety, a nice full belly, that I'm just like, oh, that was a satisfying meal. I'm good. And then I can go several hours, at least 4 hours without thinking about food, because I've got a meal to digest. Going back to the olden days when June Cleaver made 3 meals for her family, going back even further when it kind of was more of a feast or famine, there was, a lot of work to be done, and they would sit down and they would eat until they were very full and then not eat again. So I think we're a little more designed for that. But again, it comes down to personal preference. But if you find yourself trying to follow the 6 meals a day, and you're always thinking about food and you always feel hungry and never feel satisfied, maybe give yourself a month of doing 3 meals a day. Keep in mind, just like trying to work out fasted, in the beginning, your body is going to rebel like there's no tomorrow. It's going to tell you, you need to feed me every 2.5 hours, because that's what you've been doing for a really long time. It's what I'm used to. And I'm lazy. And when I digest that little tiny meal, I don't want to go into your fat stores. I would rather you just give me a little bit more food so I can get my fuel from my belly instead of my fat stores. Okay. So you've got to give it a little bit of time. At first, you'll be like, this isn't for me, but be patient. Give it a really, really good try before you decide that 4, 5, 6 meals is better for you versus just 3. Okay, so who should consume small, frequent meals? So there are some people that do better with more meals in the day. And this is from the Nutrition and Clinical Practice. They made a little list that I thought I would share with you. People that experience early satiety. So if you are the kind of person that's eating and you just get full pretty fast, maybe you got a little tiny belly, or you just have a very good signal that tells you, yep, I'm full, and it's just a little tiny serving. Those people, definitely not me. They can eat like 1 piece of pizza and be like, I'm good. Give me half the pizza. So those kind of people that have that early satiety would do better with smaller meals. People that are trying to gain weight do better with smaller meals. I'm going to say that again. People who are trying to gain weight do better with smaller meals, according to the Nutrition and Clinical Practice. And then people that have gastroparesis. So that's when from your stomach to your small intestine, it's just not working very well. So food sits. If you can imagine, smaller meals are going to be better for people with gastroparesis, because if it's a really big meal, then a big meal is going to sit there, and that's going to be really, really uncomfortable. Okay. But who should consume fewer larger meals? So people who may benefit from 3 larger meals per day include those who have difficulty practicing portion control. If you're listening to this, I just raised my hand. I don't know, I'm not a portion control kind of girl. I just eat until I genuinely feel full, not stuffed, but full. And so if you were to give me little tiny portions of things, I would eat it and I'd be like, okay, what's next? That's just me. The second one is those who tend not to eat mindfully, right? So when you eat those smaller meals, your portion has to be smaller, your calories have to be smaller. And so you have to be very mindful of it, because if you're not, and you actually are eating on the go, or eating watching TV, or eating playing a game, or driving, then you're not really being mindful about it, and you will eat more than that small portion, unless that's all you have with you, which then would be very, very smart. And then the last one is people who live busy lives and may not have time to plan and prepare several nutritious mini meals a day. Again, that's me. How many times you guys have asked me for a cookbook? I'm telling you, I always joke it'd be a pamphlet. It's very simple. And just yesterday I had, eating healthy can be very affordable. I went to Kroger here in Texas, and they had this huge thing of chopped up vegetables, and it was $5. So impressed. But that was way more than one serving, 2 servings, maybe 3. But you know me and large meals, I cooked them up in my cast iron, and I cooked up 2 chicken breasts, and it was 2 meals for me. So I had one for yesterday, and I already have dinner prepared for me today, which makes it super simple. I don't have a lot of time. I don't care to spend a lot of time on thinking about food, eating food, preparing food, shopping for food. I would just, the less in the day that I need to do it to feel my best works best for me. And you know what? Some of you may be saying, but Melissa, what about OMAD or 1 meal a day? You know what? Every once in a blue moon, if you want to do like a 24-hour fast, I think that's fine. I actually have I've done it in my groups. I don't know if I've put it publicly on my social media. It took me a long time to construct the perfect 1,500 calorie meal that has all the protein, fibrous carbohydrates, including plenty of fiber, healthy fats, pretty balanced macros, low sugar, all that stuff, very micronutrient dense. It was fun to do. I made 3 meals that do that. So if it's fun, sure. But if you were to eat that way every day, I think it's really hard on the digestive system. I mean, so these meals that are 1,500 calories, that are 1 meal a day, that's where you try to pick calories that aren't very, huge. Like a tablespoon of olive oil is going to be 130 calories versus 5 cups of broccoli. So you choose very wisely about how you do these 1 meal a days, and doing that so that you can have an extended fast longer than 16 hours. Fantastic. But on the daily, I just think it's too hard on our poor little bodies to digest so much food at once. I really think breaking it into bare minimum 2 meals with a little mini meal or 3 meals a day is really, really good for us as a whole. So I hope that was helpful in whether or not you work out fasted. If you want to have a little better fat oxidation for your workout, you'll do it fasted. That post-workout meal, not necessary, as long as you are looking within that 24-hour period till you work out again, that you're actually getting good nutrition in your body during that time. And then 3 to 6 meals, completely up to you. But again, 3 meals make you feel less hungry, according to the nutrition and clinical practice. And I just think it's gosh darn easier. So hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that answers those 3 questions for you. And I hope you wake up feeling prepared and go to bed feeling extremely proud. You guys have a great day. Wow, we've reached the end. But before I leave you, I'd love to hear from you. After all, it's not every day that someone reaches out and asks for your opinion. And to me, your opinion does matter. So please share this episode with anyone that you think needs to hear this message. And remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. My name is Melissa McAllister. And until next time, thank you for being your own health advocate.